was the corollary benefit, but there was a bigger issue that had to be dealt with, and we stepped in and dealt with it. It is not over though, you know. That's phase one. That is phase one. Remember what David said in the budget at the time, that he was sending a warning to the minibus people that if they did not clear up their act, he was going to stop school children from riding on those buses altogether. And you pick sex for nonsense. There was a reason why this was done. And I am telling you that had it not been done, we would have been facing a potential national crisis in this country. But on your thinking gaps, and you will know exactly what I am talking about. Anyway, so we are pilloried for all of these things. We are pilloried because we have held the hands of Barbadians. Because we have had to go and find money to put into the National Housing Corporation to build houses for ordinary Barbadians. Because the Labour Party left a list at NHC of 21,000 applicants for houses, and there were no houses. Now, how could you be over a government as a Prime Minister, as the then Prime Minister was going after? For 14 years of bliss and plenty and milk and honey, and you cannot show the houses that you would have built for people in Barbados, that 21,000 applicants could be there waiting at NHC. You know, all of this they were going to do and did not do. And when we ask the question, when we have to ask these questions, but you see, our friends from the media who are here, and I thank them for coming, don't probe these things. They like sensationalism, so they switch. One government gone out the office, one come back in, one come in, so we can deal with the one that come in and forget the one that gone out. They're not going to sit down and analyze these issues and say, well, how did we get in this position? How did we get a situation in which, in an economy that can hardly afford it, the creation of more than 7 or 8 different statutory entities in the life of the last government? And you go down the list and call them Comey, Gems, Needhams, 1 and 2. No, I thought it was statutory entity. We ain't getting into the scandal yet.
I know, I have to mention.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't get sidetracked with that. Don't put me off of my course. You got Comey. You got Needhams, Gems, UDC, RDC, Invest Barbados. You name them. All statutory entities requiring a budget from central government. Each carrying its own staff. Pan-African Commission. I ain't done. You name them. You name them. All of these entities that carry hundreds of people in staff that have to be paid. And they're then telling us, we created all of these entities. We make you spend all that money on them. Cut them and send them home. Destroy their families. Wreck their households. We don't care. Send them home. This is what This is what they are saying to us. I know nothing to get my friend Roy Morris, the editor of Barbados Today, otherwise known as The Nation at Night. I don't know if I can get my friend Mr. Morris. Rather than writing editorials attacking the government, to put some elbow grease to analyzing the structural problems that we have in the Barbados economy. Why it is that after 14 years of government and plenty, we still have to face an incipient energy crisis in this country. We have to pay close to $750 million Barbados a year to buy fuel. And after budget from ONAF about greening the economy, and looking for alternative energy, we have absolutely nothing to show for us. You feel you can get somebody in the media to ask that question? When they're having all these big public meetings all around Barbados, breaking up people's night rest, talking a lot of foolishness. You think you can get somebody to ask that question? Why it is that no resources were invested in ensuring that we did a responsible, green, renewable energy program in Barbados? Why it is that after 30 or 40 years, the only thing that we could do with the sun is heat water to bathe with or to wash it with. When there was such a vast amount of technology over there that could have been imported into Barbados to be used to transform and transformify the Barbados economy, because one of the major problems we are having right now is paying for fuel. And it must have been seen over the 14 years of the last government that energy prices were escalating and were unlikely to come back down. So, 14 or 15 years ago, when we were paying $45 a barrel, all was well. Everybody was fine and happy. Now we're paying over $80 a barrel. It went as high as over $100 a barrel.
120.
And when you think about the impact on your foreign reserves, when BNOC has to call on the central bank to get foreign reserves to buy oil, you have to wonder to yourself, who was dealing with the restructuring of the Barbados economy? This great economist. Because I'll tell you, the importance of Barrow was not what he did at the time. It is what he left to happen after he was gone. We talk today and argue today about the National Insurance Scheme. Errol Walton Barrow, the Democratic Labour Party, had the vision to implement the National Insurance Scheme.
Got lit for it too.
And got lit for it too. We weren't supposed to do it. But Barrow did it. So that 30, 40, 50 years after he implemented such a scheme, today we can be talking about a national insurance scheme that has more money than any other financial entity in Barbados and can contribute to development. When Aaron Barr thought of doing free education, he wasn't just thinking about helping those who needed to get education at the time. He was looking 50 years down the road at what Barbados would require as a developing country, a small, open, developing economy. Look what has happened to Barbados, the transformative elements within that particular policy. But you do the comfortable pose with Owen Africa. I challenge anybody in Barbados to tell me that one policy that this so-called great economist has done in the 14 years that he was in office that can have a transformative effect on Barbados 10, 15, 20 years down the road. One. Name one. Name one. Name one. And if in the 14 years when he was Prime Minister, when he was at least worth half of something. Young and energetic and supposedly bright. And he couldn't give us any great ideas in those years when he was at his peak. What on earth could Owen Africa possibly have to offer the people of Barbados at this stage? Absolutely nothing. They just have to put on their thinking caps. His only foray back into politics, ladies and gentlemen, I respectfully submit, is about power. He wants to get power. He wants to be able to dictate, direct, and otherwise abuse people in Barbados using the power of the office of Prime Minister to do it. And I'm telling you tonight, because I don't want to get sidetracked with him, there are more important points to be made. But I don't want to get sidetracked. But I'm telling you tonight that as an educated Barbadian, educated at the expense of the taxpayers of this country, I am offended by the view being postulated by people, particularly in the media, I'm not saying that's you, Roy, because I'm not busy up on the media today. Right? Let me say it, Eric.
Not Eric.
I won't bother to talk about Eric's history tonight. A lot of people here will be very surprised. His origins. Good. They're very good. Let me tell you that. But let me make this point. Let me make this point. Let me make this point. If you were postulating, but I am offended that people can be saying, supposedly sensible and intelligent people can walk around saying, oh, I don't like Flinders Stewart because he's too respectable. He's too decent. He's too controlled over himself. But instead you want, apparently, some ragamuffin, some violent, some otherwise, whatever, to be your, you want this to be in your, I don't understand it. I'm talking at a conceptual level now. This is a concept. I'm talking about the personalities. You're telling me that a person who occupies the office of Prime Minister conceptually should not be a decent, hard-working, God-fearing Barbadian, but should be somebody who is ruthless, vindictive, and abusive, and use power to crush people. That's what you're telling me satisfies the criteria in this country to occupy the highest office in the land. If that is the case, I back up shop on the home. Because that does not comport with what I consider to be the best personality for the office. I'm saying that tonight, and therefore I make it bold tonight. They can say whatever they want to say. But I am standing 4 square behind Frandel Jerome Stewart. I make no apologies for saying that. I don't have to go around pretending like people are hugging up this one. I don't hug up men. Because I am afraid they may try something. They have to pitch a slapping hard. So I ain't hugging up nobody. I sit down next to Darwell, and Esther is on my right. And when I want comfort, I turn to Esther. I play with her hair a little bit. And so much you tell me you're on camera, you have to behave. But that is where I take my comfort. I hug up Darwell in it. Not for people say before the system foolishness. Seriously, no, seriously. No, but we have to understand what is going on in Barbados. So at the political level, the choice is clear. The devastation of Miss Motley for the elevation of Moinafa back to office was a piece of bad political, nasty piece of political work never seen in Barbados yet. That within less than 2 years of being kicked out of office and into the wilderness, Moinafa, because of his desire to become Prime Minister, the power to get back in Bay Street, would say such uncharitable things about his country so that he can get. So everything that he has done is about getting back in power. I am not about getting back in power. It doesn't mean that much to me, except that you want to be in office to help people. And that is what the Democratic Labour Party has tried to do in the last 4 years. I believe we have done it successfully. We have kept this economy stable. We have kept people employed. We have ensured that at least they have a meal, and those who fall through the cracks, we have ensured that the social safety net has been there, whether it is welfare, urban and rural, national assistance board, you name it, we have done it. And we have done it in the most difficult of circumstances. Now you can imagine that 3 years into our office, 2.5 years into our office, we had to go through devastating and painful experience of losing our revered leader. That's why we've had almost a perfect storm. Every time that we have settled down, something else has come up. But we have not given up on the people of Barbados. Yes, our heads were bowed for some time. We have had pain, but we have not bent down and given up.